You're looking at the breaking news right now coming out of Washington. These are live scenes coming from Capitol Hill. The House just voting on that sweeping social spending legislation that you know better as the Build Back Better plan, giving the nearly $2 trillion bill the green light to advance to the Senate. That bill passing within the last 15 minutes. There were plenty of votes to spare. Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, not known for bringing a bill to the floor that she doesn't think will pass. Good morning and welcome to D.C. Today. I'm Del Walters in Washington. Our D.C. correspondent Bofta Yiman has been following all of the developments. A late night in Washington, an early morning. Good morning, Bofta.
Good morning, Del. They reconvened at 8 a.m. this morning. The vote taking place around 9. That vote, 220 in favor to 213 who said no. And then that one no vote that we had on the Democratic side, Representative Jared Golden. Now, you know, we've been talking about this for the past several weeks because the momentum went back and forth in Congress. We know that last night there was a stunt pulled by Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who went for 8 hours and 32 minutes in a very filibuster-style speech on the House floor. Really, Speaker Pelosi called it a temper tantrum because he went from topic to topic, inflation, immigration, and did not really talk about the legislation that passed this morning. So we know that Kevin McCarthy tried to stall this bill, but it still managed to pass as expected, and it will now go to the House. He spoke, by the way, until his voice got hoarse around 5 a.m. this morning. Majority Leader Steny Hoyer says he believes that stunt was to force a nighttime vote. They decided at one point, look, we're just going to take it during the day. Let's get into some of the meat of the bill. So what does this social spending bill mean for millions of Americans? We know that universal pre-K, enhanced child tax credit, affordable housing, and something that was very popular among many Americans, paid family leave. This will expand social services and increase health care access for so many. They talked about it, Speaker Pelosi at the very top, talking about the momentum that this took to pass this. In the Senate, we do know it will face hurdles from moderate Democrats like Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, who have pushed back on the size and the scope of this bill. We know that they can not afford to lose a single vote, Del, in the Senate today. They could only afford to lose 3 votes in the House. So again, they successfully were able to pass that. Right now, what we see going on the House floor is there's a motion to reconsider. More than likely, that won't mean anything for most folks because it's going to be voted on again, and it will probably get, again, the same number of votes. So it's one of those things where, you know, Republicans come back and say, can we reconsider this motion? But at the end of the day, it has passed unless something monumental happens within the next hour or so, Del.
And both the Democrats, especially the White House, are looking forward now to being able to talk about what's in the bill as opposed to the numbers, the amount, the process, the sausage being made in Washington. The bottom line is this is going to affect a lot of people, whether you are for it or against it.
Right. When you think about the tens of billions of dollars in affordable housing, things like prescription drugs, really things that hit home, those pocketbook issues, which we have talked about on D.C. Today, that voters do want to hear more about. They'll now go on tour, so to speak, talking about this. We know that Democrats as a whole have been saying this needed to pass because it's been a floundering couple of weeks aside from what happened on Monday with the infrastructure bill, where the Biden agenda has not had enough movement, and they're looking ahead to the midterm elections and saying, look, what can we show our constituents? What can we show that we got done? So they were able to pass it through the House, but it is probably going to face some deeper cuts because we know Manchin has a ton of power right now and knows it, especially with Sinema as well, if she goes along with it. What they decide in the Senate, more than likely, is what will ultimately pass. And as you know, Del, that means that amendments will be made. This is going to take time, and then it will go back to the House for another vote before it can go back through. And so this, of course, is D.C. and it's Congress, and nothing moves fast. But today they were successfully, as they promised to do before Thanksgiving, pass this monumental bill.